At the right spot in the proceedings.
Leave is granted.
Thank you very much, Acting Deputy President. Look, we welcome the significant progress that was achieved in recent weeks, and particularly we welcome the acknowledgement by all countries that the Millennium Development Goals need to in fact recognise and have a standalone goal for gender equality once those MDGs expire in 2015. So I'd like to place on record my thanks to all of the women who were involved in negotiating that great outcome. What I wish to express some concern about, though, is a short statement in the Minister's response just tabled, where she notes that, and I quote, "Without addressing gender inequity in all its forms, we cannot expect meaningful progress in other spheres of development." And so on that note, I wish to place on record the Greens' extreme concern at the mooted proposal to abolish the gender workplace reporting requirements currently overseen by the Workplace Gender Equality Agency. Now, there's been quite a lot of talk about the fact that these reforms will either be watered down or in fact abolished entirely and lifted from their current application to workplaces of 100 employees up to workplaces of 1,000 employees, which would cover some 5% of workplaces across the country. Now, you can't fix the gender pay gap by hiding it. So clearly we need to keep gathering this data if the Minister is serious about tackling gender inequality in all of its forms. So I would urge the Minister and those on the government side to in fact reflect on those words and keep these very important gender workplace reporting mechanisms on our books. I also wish to place on record my concern with the Finance Minister's recent statement that he believed that women in Parliament was a side issue. Now, again, if we have a professed concern with gender inequality in all of its forms, then I would ask the Finance Minister to reflect on his very inappropriate remarks about the representation of women in this place. I'd also wish to conclude my remarks by addressing and putting on record our concerns about the cuts to foreign aid funding. Again, if indeed Australia is playing, as it should, a strong role in the international community in supporting women's rights, in supporting equality for women, then how on earth can we achieve that by cutting a projected $4.5 billion from overseas aid funding in the forward estimates? That, to me, makes a mockery of the commitments that Australia was part of making in recent weeks at the Convention on the Status of Women, and I would again urge the government to not take that step of cutting this crucial funding, which will in fact help the status of women across the country. Thanks, Acting Deputy President.